What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily. We are here for a Saturday. This will be the last 10 a.m. Saturday show. We'll be back to 11 a.m. after this one, last official weekend here of college football. It also is Cigar Mile and Remsen Day. And Shoddy says happy Cigar Mile and Remsen Day to the dudes and the dudettes out there. It's a great day at Aqueduct as well. Great day at Del Mar. This is like we were talking before we got on the air. This is one of those days, isn't it, Pop Dude? Great day.
Yeah, it's cold outside and kind of dreary. It's just a good day to, I can really stay inside when it's like this. So, probably won't budge a whole lot today from the couch.
Yeah, it's 11 a.m. window for me. It's going to be a little tough to watch. I don't really want to watch Oklahoma State and Texas.
That would be the one that I can pass up. Yes.
But from 3 o'clock until it's time to go to bed, I will probably just be, well, actually, you know what? I'll just watch racing until 3 o'clock. And that's all. So that'll be good. Yeah. All right. Well, I mentioned it. We have to talk about it. Oklahoma State and Texas going to play today. The last Big 12 championship game going to be played for Texas. They're off to the SEC. Oklahoma State will still be around in the Big 12. Does Texas get this done? I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He goes, I'm going to bet Texas, but I wouldn't be surprised if they choked. And I said, the only thing is Oklahoma State has really tried to choke for a couple of weeks to not even get here. What do you think is going to happen down in Dallas today?
Well, I think it's a total mismatch if Texas shows up. I just do. I think Texas is really good. I thought that when they played Oklahoma. I really think they're good. I don't know if they're top four, but they're fifth or sixth or seventh for sure. But they just have a tendency to not play up to their talent. They don't. The big matchup everybody's talking about is Oklahoma State has to be able to run the ball. And that's Texas's strength, stopping the run. And if you can make Oklahoma State one-dimensional, you should smear them because they don't throw it just real good. For OU fans, you just have no winner in this one. You just don't. You want them both to lose. I think Texas covers. I just do. I think they're so much better. I just look for them to come out and play well.
You know, Shoddy brings it up. Have you heard about this Longhorn?
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't know, I can't even hardly explain it. Like the Oklahoma State fraternity, killed a Longhorn, carved it up, and put it in the front yard of their house. I have heard from so many people who are like, I'm just rooting for Texas, and I don't even care after this. I mean, that's, and my reply was, what a trash school Oklahoma State is. I mean, Oklahoma State. I'm with Shoddy. I hope Texas annihilates them, and it's almost like good riddance to you. That we don't have to mess with that kind of stupidity.
Well, there's just no excuse to kill an animal.
I mean, that is the most embarrassing thing.
If you find a no dead cow that got hit by a car outside the road, maybe, but even that's stupid. It's just really crazy. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't go as far as to say I'm rooting for Texas. That just would kill me. But I don't know why you do stuff like that.
I mean, in all the years of our rivalry with them, never anything happened like that. I mean, that's just insanity. So anyway, Texas big. I'm with everybody here. I think all of America hates Texas except for Texas fans, but we're all rooting for Texas in this game. So.
Wait a minute. I'm not rooting for Texas.
Well, I am. Congratulations.
I'm not rooting for anybody in this.
Congratulations, Oklahoma State for this. Yeah, that's quite the accomplishment there. So I think Texas. The other thing, you got to get back to football here. The other thing, Texas needs to win big. In this case this week, style points are going to matter. We don't know how this thing's going to shake out. And if it comes between them and somebody else, they don't need 31-28. They need 51-10 type of score.
They do. Yeah. If they squeak this one out, 28-27, like you said, 31-28, that's not going to help them. They're 15. You look at that line. That's the first tip off right there. 15-point favorites. What's that telling you? Vegas thinks and the country thinks they're so much better than Oklahoma State. And if they barely eke it out, and it comes down to them and somebody else, I think that's going to kill them. I do.
It's going to be trouble
to win big.
Yep, it's going to be trouble. All right, let's go to the game of the day. Georgia and Alabama here. Georgia 5-point favorite. Another total sitting there at 55.5. It's become a tradition now. I mean, the clash between these two teams in the SEC championship game. We have seen some great games between these two. I cannot wait for this one. What do you think is going to happen in this year's version of Georgia Alabama?
Well, the line was 6 yesterday. I think it might have been 7 to open up with, or 6.5, something like that. So it's down to 5. Lots of money going on Alabama because it's Alabama.
Yep.
You know, so one of the written rules is don't ever bet against Alabama.
Yep.
But this isn't your typical Alabama. I think in order for them to win, they're going to have to get some big plays. Obviously, the one thing their quarterback can do is throw the ball deep. He is good at throwing the ball deep. But I just don't think Georgia's going to allow them to run it much. So they're going to have to make some big plays, maybe get a defensive turnover touchdown, block a punt, maybe something like that, which is really odd to think Alabama's got to do something like that to win a game. You don't hardly ever think about that.
Yeah.
I just think Georgia's better than Alabama. I didn't think that until I saw the Auburn game. And there were just flashbacks to what Alabama played like earlier in the year. I just did not think they played. It's not that the game was close. It's they played awful. They just didn't play well. They got whipped, and that's disturbing. So I'm going Georgia in this one.
Yep, Georgia for me as well. But you're right. You kind of mentioned sometimes when you go against Alabama, you get kind of exposed. I'll never forget this. 2 years ago, I was at a relative's wedding on my wife's side. And our cousin now and I are huge, gamblers, football bettors, and he had a parlay in the last leg of the parlay. It started on Friday night all the way to the Bama Georgia game. And it was Georgia, just Georgia on the money line, flat out. And we watched that whole game at that wedding reception, and we're just shaking our head like we've watched these games all year. Georgia is a better team than Alabama. And Alabama is absolutely kicking their ass. And lo and behold, Bama beats them, and then a month later, Georgia beats Bama for the national championship. So we were texting each other that night. I was like, we knew, but for whatever reason, they rose up and they beat them in that spot.
And they might.
It could happen. That's the point. Anytime you're taking a shot against Alabama, you definitely are like, man, I don't know. Is this the smartest thing to bet against them? I got to just go with the eyeball test. I think Georgia's a much better team. I'm going to go Georgia as well. I again, could be at 5, 6 o'clock our time and be like, holy shit, Alabama beat them. Unbelievable. But I'm going Georgia. All right. Louisville and Florida State. That'll be the last one we talk about as far as the rundown here. Now Florida State may have a true freshman at quarterback. A third-string quarterback may be playing. If you watch that game, Bodemaker did take a hit to the head late in that Florida game, I should say. Man, it's starting to trend to me towards, can they really do it with a third-string quarterback? I'm not sure. If the line's down to 1.5, we're not going to know to game time who's going to play. What do you think now?
I mean, it's all speculation. Reading between the lines, the other kid took all the snaps, or most of the snaps in practice.
It's hard.
I think you have to do
until last week when Gabriel played after getting that concussion.
Yeah.
Usually they're out that next week. He came back, and that was really shocking to me. It's hard for me to if this kid has a concussion. Talk about Bodemaker. I don't think he's playing.
I still am not sure, even though they kind of said he had a concussion. I've heard other people say it was a neck injury.
Yeah.
On Gabriel, not this guy. They've obviously prepared all week for the other guy. And that's smart. You have to do that. You've got to give the other kid. But that shows me they're not very confident that Bodemaker's going to be able to play.
Yeah.
You're down to okay, first of all, we're really worrying about them with their second string quarterback, right?
Yep. Yes.
How many teams have 3 that can go win a game against a team that's 10-2?
Yeah, and I think we kind of saw they really only have one. Bodemaker was not great in that game. against Florida.
And Florida's not very good. And that's no knock on Bodymaker. He's the second stringer, And here's the deal. If that name over on the left side here was Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
Would they be favored by 1.5?
No chance. No.
Louisville doesn't get the credit. If it's the third string quarterback and you bet Florida State, you're taking a big risk, in my opinion.
Yep. I agree. I'm just staying away from it. I hate these games where you don't know who's going to play. And that's, and sometimes, like last night, you're back in New Mexico State. They look like they're easily going to cover, and then their quarterback gets hurt in the game. Well, there's nothing you can do about that. Like, you didn't see that coming. But if you're betting this game and you don't know who's actually going to play for Florida State, that's a little scary. Maybe this is an in-game type of bet. You got to know who's going to play.
I think Florida State's going to come out and play with their hair on fire. I really do.
Yep.
They're going to be inspired to play. All the rest of the guys are going to play the best they possibly can. But you know what? If you don't have that guy pulling the trigger that can make that big play when you got to have it, because there's going to be some part of the game where you got to make a throw.
Yep.
And he doesn't. He's a third string freshman. Come on, that's asking a bunch.
Well, and that Louisville defense before last week had been pretty good too. And that's the other kind of scary thing. At times, they've really shut down other teams. So, I mean, they're capable. I don't know what really happened last week. They looked awful, but you would think the Louisville that we've seen throughout the body of their work, they could stop Florida State tonight.
I do too. If Louisville can get over that loss last week, if they can get over it and come back to the team that we've seen, they're going to win.
Yep.
But that loss to Kentucky, what happened is they saw Kentucky was coming into that game playing like crap. They didn't get ready for them. Kentucky hit some plays. Kentucky's extremely well coached.
Yep.
And they got them. And so they got to get over that. And if they can, they definitely can win. It's just they got to get back to that level, though.
I still am going to stand by it. I think Florida State will find a way. I
kind of do too. I'm not sure with the third stringer, though. And
that's why I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, bet Florida State. But if this kid can just do some basic stuff, I think they'll find a way to beat him. So I'm still on Florida State, but like I said, I'm not touching this one until we see. Lori brings it up. Nice hit on the parlay last night, Papa Dude. Yes, he got it home. Spoiler alert, Lori, we're going to cover the cigar mile now, and then Papa Dude's got another one that he's got for us today for the best bet. But before we get to the best bet, let's do the cigar mile. This is a great race today. I think this is a lot of fun. Race 10 on the card, of course, a cigar mile, so it is a mile race there at Aqueduct. Grade 2 event. Hate that it's not a grade 1. Stupid, but we're back. We're down to a grade 2. Who do you like in the cigar mile today, Papa Dude?
Well, again, this is a tough one. By the way, yesterday, No-Nay Hudson came through.
Yes.
I didn't have the guts to pick that horse. I'm really kicking myself that I didn't, because I kind of analyzed it and boom.
Yep.
Anyway, I like 3 of them. Again, there's others you can put in here too. I just try to single it down to 3 or get it down to 3. I could have picked 2 more, I think, real easy. I like the 2, the 3, and the 10. That's my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Not much to choose from, in my opinion, between any of them. You got the 2 ever so mischievous, 3 straight wins, including one over this track in October. So the horse is familiar with the track, runs well there. A lot to like in the 2.
Yep.
We always like Senor Buscador, the 3.
Yeah.
He comes up and runs well. Dropping down, been running in some really tough races, hasn't been running awful, but the key to him, he's shortening up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he likes it. I think he's going to like this distance better than what he's been running. He's been running longer. And then I like the 10. What is that? A creative, accretive or something like that. He's just a good old horse, runs well, very consistent, been running really well. So those are my top 3. I'm going to take Senor Buscador, shortening up to pull a really good one today.
He did win in a 1-turn mile in the ACAC at Churchill Downs last year. I'm with Senor Buscador as well. I took the 3 Senor Buscador. I think he's going to have a ton of pace. Shotty mentioned it. You see a lot of speed in this race when you handicap it. There's no doubt he's the best closer. I am worried that the 2 Ever So Mischievous doesn't come back to him quite enough, and the 2 may hold him off.
Yeah.
I really like the 2-3 in this spot. I like Senor Buscador to win. I'm going to give him, the win pick here. I do think the pace will collapse, and I think he's got a big shot if it does.
Don't you think a big key is if the 12 goes pipeline?
Yep.
Because pipeline to me is what you guys call cheap speed.
Yep.
He gets out there, but he against good horses, he fades.
Yep.
So I think he's the key. He's got to go get the lead and then see what happens after that.
He should go, but you never know, right? Yeah. But he should probably break out of the gate running today and get out there towards the front. I think the 1 can go, the 8, the 2, there's all kinds of them that are going to be up there, I think. So I think it's going to be a nice pace duel, and I think Senor Buscador is going to pick him up late. All right, let's get to the best bets. We'll stick with horse racing. We'll go to Magic's bet here. He is not here, but he did phone this one in. He's going to go to a horse that actually I've used on this show as a best bet before. He's going to go Gulfstream Park, race 10, the number 5, R. Harper Rose. This horse will be going for her 4th straight victory here to kick off her career. Stretching out in distance, but that may not be a problem. Went 7 furlongs last time out. Probably ran the best race of her career. Now stretches out to a mile and a 16th. Faces a weak field, should get the lead. I think R. Harper Rose gets it done as well. So Magic's going to go Gulfstream Park, race 10, number 5, R. Harper Rose. I'm going to go to a track we're familiar with, Remington Park tonight, race number 9. I'm going to go to the number 6, Jalen Journey. This horse goes for 3 straight wins. And here's what I love about it, Papa Dude, and you're going to agree with me. I know it. Steve Asmussen claims this horse for himself for $5,000, 2 races back. Runs him protected, moves him up in class, runs him protected in a starter allowance race in the next start. That's the best sign in horse racing, is it not?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
You claim one for 5 and then you protect next time out and you actually own that horse. Yeah. Got the job done. Back today in another protected race, similar to what he won last time out. Lots of pace signed on. I mean, lots of pace. For a starter allowance 9-horse field, I see a lot of horses that want to go. That's great news for Jalen Journey because he likes to come running late. So give me the 8-year-old to get his 3rd straight victory today. 2nd straight for Asmussen. Number 6, Jalen Journey. All right, I teased it. Papa Dude has been hitting parlays like crazy. He's got another one. All right, tell us about it.
By the way, that's a safe bet for you, I think. I think. See a couple here in the chat, too. I did want to mention, Tony mentioned Hoist the Gold, I think.
Yep.
That's another one. That's another horse that's dangerous.
Tony, we talked about Hoist the Gold a little bit on the Magic Mike show. Mike Somich and I were on it this week, and he feels like the one that we didn't use him, but if he wins, we're going to go, damn it. He's good enough to win. It was a situation we just couldn't use enough of them in that race. I think you're going to get the price. Hoist the Gold has kind of been that horse that he's won a few, but he's just been a little disappointing a lot. I think you're going to get the right price today. So I don't hate that pick at all.
Yeah. And then Rob likes the Leafs and Bruins over 6 tonight. Makes a little bit of sense. Toronto can score goals, and the Bruins are giving up a few, which they usually don't. So I like that one too. That's pretty good. I may include that on the website. Back to mine. I feel really good about this one. So that means it's going to collapse. I don't see any way Michigan doesn't dominate Iowa. I just don't. It worries me that the line isn't more.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's 22, and that is huge. But, I just can't see Iowa scoring more than 7.
See that, and that's the thing. Like you need Michigan to score. If Michigan scores 31 points, they should cover. Yeah.
And everybody says Iowa's got a great defense, and they do. But they have not defended well. Okay, they've played one really good team. That's Penn State. And Penn State scored 31 on them. And Michigan and by the way, Iowa scored 0. And Michigan's better than Penn State offensively. So to me, the only way Iowa can score is if Michigan turns it over and gives them some points. I cannot see them moving the ball on them. I just can't unless Michigan's flat. So I like them at minus 22, which is the risk. Well, both of these are risky because Georgia's playing Alabama. I can't go the line on Georgia, but I can go the money line. And I feel good about this one. I look at the money we're going to get plus 189 on a 2-team parlay that could cash very easily. So it was kind of that way last night. You just had 2 teams. The Kansas one was very, very risky, but they won. And by the way, if you didn't watch that, what an atmosphere.
Yeah.
In Allen Fieldhouse last night. That was just it was a home crowd win. That's what it was. Man, did they play great in the last 4 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. It was really good. It was so good it had me turning it over there during the Pac-12 championship game, which was amazing as well. What do you think had a better atmosphere, the Kansas game or the Arkansas Little Rock game?
Well, I'm proud to say, I guess maybe I'm ashamed to say I watched the last part of that game as well.
I didn't turn it on, but I did kind of follow it.
They didn't have trouble with them. I didn't think they would. They're not bad. So watch out, Purdue. If you get, by the way,
Purdue
how about Purdue last night? Yes, sir. Number 1 goes into Northwestern and gets thumped. I thought that was fantastic too.
Yeah.
Is there ever a more overrated team than them?
No. I was talking with Ricky last night. We were talking about college basketball, and he's like, okay, so I'm already scouting who's going to beat Purdue in the first or second round of the tournament. And then 10 minutes later, he's like, they're going to get beat tonight. It's like, wow.
And I'll tell you another thing. I don't have anything against that big guy, Edie or whatever his name is, that plays for Purdue. No. He can't play in the pros, I don't think.
I don't know. I'm kind of with you.
High on him.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't know. He seems like he's good, but he might just be a good college player. Yeah.
The pro game has gotten away from his style.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't. And, he's very good. The problem with Purdue is in order for Edie to be good, they got to have help from the rest of the guys. He doesn't dribble the ball down the floor. He doesn't do stuff like that.
Yeah, when you're a traditional big man, you've got to have great guards to be a great player. Yeah, for sure. But, Purdue, I don't know what they are overrated, but they're not a bad team.
No, they're not.
But
they're tough.
They're overvalued,
They are.
Yeah.
They're tough, though.
Yep. They are, for sure. Let's go over the best bets. So I want to touch on that Washington-Oregon game before we get out of here. Best bets here today. I'm going to go Remington Park Race 9, number 6, Jalen Journey. Magic's going to go Gulfstream Park Race 10, number 5, R. Harper Rose. Papa Dude trying to hit another one here, going Michigan minus 22 and Georgia on the money line. That's a parlay there, paying plus 189. Let's see if you can make it 4 in a row on the show here with parlays. We're 4-1 for the week, up 372. Now up 959 for the year. We're approaching 1,000. Come on, let's get it, Papa Dude.
Let's get it today. You bet.
That would be great. All right. Quickly, let's talk about. Well, we don't have to be that quick, I guess. But let's talk about the Oregon-Washington game. You had it right. You played Washington with the points. You thought it was too many. But you got to be a little honest. Maybe you weren't shocked. I was shocked with one thing. Washington dominated Oregon up front. I really didn't think that would be the case.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I wasn't confident in Washington plus the points.
Right.
I wouldn't have bet a nickel, but just had a feeling, these teams that squeak out wins, and they're not impressive, and I was one of the first ones to say they weren't, but they win. And it just builds confidence in you. Anytime you get up after you won a game, you get up the next morning and you see a W in the column, you kind of forget you didn't play real well. And you move on to the next one. You just have to win. And they did. And so they came out last night firing, and Penix was unbelievable. But I really thought when Oregon got the lead, it was over because they came from way behind. And they got the lead. They had all the momentum. And what did Washington do? They just went right down the field and scored. The other impressive thing is Oregon makes that unbelievable play to cut the lead to whatever it was, 3.
Yeah.
What did Washington do? They didn't panic. They just went and got a first down. Game over. They just did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of dumb that Oregon kicked the ball, onside kick, with 2:14 to go and 3 timeouts.
So what I'll say is,
you kick it, and they started at 25. There's a heck of a lot of difference running out that clock, starting at the 25 instead of the 45.
So I'll agree with that 1,000%. I thought that was really weird. However, they weren't going to stop him, and I think that's why they did it.
Yeah,
they knew they couldn't stop him. I mean,
that's right. They couldn't.
Oregon got them in a 1st and 20 and had them in a 3rd and 11, and all Washington did was just run the ball, and they got first down.
They did. I'm telling you, they're good. They're solid. When he plays like that, Oregon just couldn't get to him. They just couldn't. And you're right. They got knocked around pretty good. And, they scored enough to win. They did.
Tony's point is right. Obviously, the first quarter got Oregon beat.
They did.
And there's no doubt that Washington played the more complete game. They deserved to win it. I do agree with what you were saying. I thought Oregon was going to beat them though when they rallied back. But again, even in the quarters where Oregon was making that big run, they still were getting beat up front. They couldn't get the quarterback. No. They couldn't stop the run. And then you flip it. Bo Nix is under pressure all night, and Oregon couldn't run. And they got beat on the line of scrimmage, and that is truly shocking to me.
Yeah.
And that's not really a knock on Washington. I think they're very good, but I picked Oregon because I thought on the line of scrimmage they would beat Washington, and they didn't. It was the opposite.
It's just these games come down to matchups a lot of times, and you can't compare scores. You just can't.
No.
And they may play tomorrow and Oregon beats them. You just, it's just that way. But they've played twice and they've lost both. So
I was going to say, I'm kind of done thinking Oregon's better than Washington. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I mean,
Washington had something to prove. Went out and did it, and they're very deserving to be in the playoffs. They're good. They're very good.
So do you realize what very well could have happened this year? And this is the biggest argument of we better get to 12 teams, and we are going to get to 12 teams. We almost could have had a situation where we had 5 undefeated Power 5 teams.
That's true.
Washington's going to go undefeated. Obviously, they went undefeated. We're thinking Michigan's going to win. Georgia, Bama, who knows? But if Georgia wins, and then if Florida State wins, well, that's 4. And they're all favorites. So not saying they're going to win, but they're all favorites.
Mm-hmm.
A miracle Oklahoma win over Texas, or we would have had 5 this year.
That's right.
And you can sit there and say, well, it didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. Okay, sure. However, that's the closest we've ever been to something like that.
Well, I think we talked about that, Aaron, on one of our shows 6 weeks ago. Like, what if that would happen? And what would you do?
I don't know. And to take it even further, what if we still were in a situation where we had 2 teams that played for the national title?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This is long overdue. It's just ridiculous that we haven't done this because the money that's involved in everything. And even this year, to only have 4, look at the teams that are left out.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, say if the teams win tonight, they're supposed to. You're going to leave out Ohio State. You're going to leave out Texas.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing. Part of me goes, boy, Ohio State and Oregon even. I mean, Oregon, you say what you want about them. They were 3 points away 2 straight times from beating Washington.
Yeah. Well,
and you're like, boy, these teams are probably better than Team X or Team Y. Well, they'll at least get a chance to prove it. And maybe they won't win the national title, but the destinations for an Oregon and an Ohio State are much better with a 12-team playoff than they are.
Exactly.
They're going to some bowl where 4 or 5 of their best players aren't going to play.
And the other thing is, too, let's say Alabama beats Georgia tonight and Georgia's out.
Well, I mean,
that's ridiculous.
I'll tell you what, we'll save that for tomorrow because
I know.
There is a chance that could happen, and then that would be even crazier. So we'll save all those scenarios for tomorrow when they're not scenarios, but they're reality. It actually happened. That'll be a fun conversation. I'm rooting for some kind of case. I really don't want Michigan, Alabama, Florida State, or Michigan, Georgia, Florida State, all to win, because then it's really boring.
Well, I think the whole thing will play out the best if Florida State loses.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, if they pull this off tonight and they're 13-0, you have to take them.
Absolutely, they're in.
You got to.
They'll be in. So.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here because the games are getting ready to go, and also Aqueduct about 20 minutes away from their first race. So a lot for me to do, a lot for Papa Dude to do. We're going to get out of here now. We'll be right back here tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central Time. We'll break down everything. Hopefully we're up over $1,000, by tomorrow. That would be great to see. We have been battling to get back to that number, so hopefully we can get to it. Good job, Papa Dude, once again. Hopefully you get this one, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.